again. It's around Christmas time, and we're here for the active podcast. And as always, here with my good friends, Ian.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
And Swamp.
Hello, hello.
How's it going, guys?
Is this actually our last one of the year?
Yeah, here we are. It's the week.
Yeah. All right.
Got
Yeah.
a little bit to talk about this. Got a couple more episodes of Skeleton Crew. Got going.
A little bit of news, a little bit of Star Wars. What more can?
Never a bad thing. Hey, what? Right into it. I mean, actually, some exciting news came out this.
Some juicy stuff.
Yeah, some interesting things. Get right into it. Talk about that. There we go.
Variety.com.
Yeah, first one's out of Variety.com. Says that Star Wars Son. Here, Jeremy Allen has joined as the voice of Jabba the Hutt. Variety has confirmed. The project marks the guys for the actor following his Emmy-winning breakout role in the FX series. Okay, there we go. I'm a little bit better now. So I'm going to start over there because I don't think anybody heard me to begin with. But
I mean, we did.
yeah, you guys heard me, but let's get this going here.
It don't matter. So.
Let's get this going here. First story, like we said, out of Variety, saying Jeremy Allen White, known from FX series The Bear, joined Star Wars film Mandalorian Grogu as Jabba the Hutt's son. So, says here, basically he's going to be the voice of Jabba the Hutt's son, Road to the Hutt. Project marks first major franchise for the actor following his Emmy-winning breakout role on the FX series The Bear. Plot details have been hard to come by for the Mandalorian Grogu, so White's casting as Jabba's son provides the first real glimpse for what could be in store for the titular bounty hunter and his adorably we-adopted son. Their Disney Plus series The Mandalorian is set in the years following the events of 1983's Return of the Jedi, in which Princess Leia strangles Jabba to death. Recent spin-offs... yes. Recent spin-off series, The Book of Boba Fett, revealed that Jabba's absence left a power vacuum among the organized crime bosses on Tatooine. Two of Jabba's cousins made a play for his territory, only to be defeated by Boba Fett, who takes over instead. It seems likely that, with Jabba's son somehow involved in the new film, Boba Fett and his deputy Fennec Shand could show up as well. It says here also, White is currently shooting the Bruce Springsteen biopic Deliver Me from Nowhere with writer-director Scott Cooper. Just goes through a little bit more of his accolades, but it also comes down here to Mandalorian creator Jon Favreau is directing the Mandalorian Crew from a screenplay he wrote with Dave Filoni. The project, which will star Pedro Pascal as Mando, aka Djarin, and Sigourney Weaver in an undisclosed role, is set to debut on May 22nd, 2026. It'll be the first Star Wars feature film since 2019's Rise of Skywalker. Lucasfilm had no comment. It's also, since here at the bottom, the news was first reported by Jeff Schneider on the YouTube series The Christian Harloff Show. The first thing I want to pull off of this is that this Jeff Schneider guy, this In Schneider guy, I now buy into everything this guy says.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, this guy seems to be breaking stories. We talk about this guy all the time, and everything he said has come to pass. So I don't.
What I gather, he is the guy on the inside. Like any of the shows, like that Christian Harloff show, I watch that or I listen to it, and they do bring up his name quite a bit for a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, Christian Harloff. I remember him from when he was doing what was it, Jedi Academy or something like that. He used to have a weekly series on Collider, and I used to watch that religiously because it was always a good source for news. But yeah, I mean, if anything's coming out of this guy, I'm not going to be saying it's with a grain of salt anymore. But
yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, I like this. I like this news. It almost makes me wonder, with everything that's been going on, why didn't we hear from Lord of the Hut sooner? That's about all. That's about the only thing I would play into it. But I like it. I think it's good news. What about you guys?
Yeah, I like Jeremy Allen White. He's a good actor, so that'll be exciting for him to, be in the Star Wars world, and even if it's just a voice role. But yeah, also, is this Rhoda the Hutt like the same as the Stinky?
Yeah.
Stinky.
Yeah, it's exactly who it is.
Nice. So that's cool.
So first of all, like Jeremy Allen White, he's a Emmy Award. Did he win an Emmy, or his show won an Emmy? I'm not.
And I believe the show won.
Breakout for FX. Oh no, he won his Emmy.
Yeah, it's saying his
breakout.
Emmy winning.
So him.
Yeah.
So the thing like from what I feel, like they're bringing him in, which it was great. Like he's coming in voicing the Hut. So this tells me that he's probably going to be a prominent character, like in this movie, I would imagine, because you're not going to bring somebody in that somebody like that just to voice for a little cameo of Rhoda the Hutt. I think he's going to play a big part in the movie, and which is great. I mean, I guess we get to see another Hutt, which is cool too. Full grown Stinky.
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody calls him Stinky as in his adult years, but
unless Ahsoka like somehow reunites back into the story, then that would be awesome.
Stinky, is that you?
I mean, not for nothing. I wouldn't mind seeing somebody like do that and say like call him Stinky. Also, that person like dies instantly or something. Like, don't call me that or something. That might be funny to see.
Would you call me? Yeah. So the thing is, so they're bringing him in. Okay, so obviously he's going to talk English, right? He's going to talk, because he's not going to come in and talk the Jabba, the Huttese language, playing Jeremy Allen White, right? They could just bring in any guy to come and do the Huttese language, right? So I feel like he's going to be talking, the regular talk or the whatever it is.
I mean, personally, I've seen him do.
Well, maybe he does.
Yeah, I'm
both,
sure.
But, I mean,
yeah, I'm sure there will be some degree of little Huttese going on.
I'm sure he knows the language. He's a Hutt, but I mean, he's probably more educated, or maybe he was more educated than Jabba. I mean, at this point, I don't know. He learned the English language. So I think it'd be cool. I'm just wondering, so from what I've heard on some of the places that I've been listening to, some people think that it's going to be another one of these like he's going to be kidnapped again, and the whole mission is going to be instead of Anakin and Ahsoka going after him, now it's going to be Din Djarin and Grogu, or the bounty hunters going after him. Maybe Boba Fett comes back in. They're looking for him. I don't know. Like, I don't know how the whole Boba Fett and him are going to play too, right? Like, is this after? This is supposed to be after, right? So
Yes.
so maybe he's after his Jabba's cousins. So I would imagine it's Rhoda's uncle and aunt, I guess. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
Oh
like
no,
that.
no, that's Jabba's cousins. So what would that make him to them? Oh, they'd be cousins too then. They would be cousins.
Yeah, second cousins or
Yeah,
whatever.
something like that. So maybe he comes and tries to take whatever. Maybe he gets kidnapped. That's kind of the thing that some people are saying that it might happen. And I'm like, well, they're just reusing the story from Rebels then, or from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I it I feel like he's gonna be a big part of the movie. Like, he has to be. There's no way you bring in somebody like that and he's not a part of it.
Well, I think the fact that they announced that he's in the movie, considering we've literally gotten zero news out of any kind of plot in this movie,
Yeah.
tells us this is going to be a decent sized role.
Yeah.
That being
his
said,
his name alone says that.
yeah. That being said, this is where my head is with this. Obviously, speculation. I don't know, but it would be kind of awesome to think. But first question is, why haven't we heard from this character sooner? Considering all the things that we've seen so far, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, but somewhere in my mind, I'm almost thinking this is where my head is when I think of this. What if Bib Fortuna? I obviously you had the one scene where Boba Fett goes in, he kills Bib Fortuna and takes over the throne. Who's to say that Bib Fortuna wasn't sitting there holding the throne for Rhoda until Rhoda was ready, or Rhoda was old enough to take his spot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was
Or they
keeping
had
these
some
together.
kind of deal of some sort. Yeah.
And I don't know where the cousins play into this, but maybe the cousins were making their own power play, and that would make sense considering the Hutts. But if you somewhere in this, I'm feeling like they're setting up a season 2 for Book of Boba Fett now. In the process of making this movie, because if you think about it, if there's a reason to ever bring back the Book of Boba Fett, Rhoda wants his throne back. I mean,
Yeah, it could be just that they're trying to work that story into the movie rather than having a season 2.
and they could.
I would rather them do that than make another season, to be honest.
I'm not saying necessarily it needs to be another season. I'm just saying it feels like they're trying to build this story somewhere in there as well. Because I don't know so much that this is going to be like another like the Clone Wars movie where he got kidnapped again or anything like that. That just seems silly.
Well, it does, obviously, but Star Wars is full of silliness lately, right? So who knows?
Touche. But it just does feel like they're trying to set up something else. And I could see a situation where he would make a play to get Daddy's throne back, so to speak.
I'm wondering too, like, this movie was supposed to be season 4 of Mandalorian, right? From what I hear. I just wonder if Rhoda the Hutt was actually supposed to be part of that season, and and they just changed it. Because I mean, like, they just recently hired Jeremy Allen White, so I mean,
Yes.
maybe I don't know, maybe it was just a role, or maybe it was just a character that they said, oh, let's just put him in this movie. Or I mean, they could still be doing season 4 after this too at some point.
Yeah.
Which is
You know,
true.
and they could be setting him up to be in that, you know. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like, it's potentially like bringing in somebody this you know, this type of celebrity could mean that, you know, he could be around for a little bit longer than the movie. I don't disagree with you on that one for sure. Like,
Well, it's just, I mean, it's like you said, if we were just gonna, you could have had anyone just come in and play Road of the Hut, and so be it.
right.
But you grabbed an Emmy Award-winning actor that we all know, who's a good actor, to sit here and play this voice. It kind of screams he's gonna be around a little bit longer than this movie. Like I said, where you're gonna put him, I don't know. Obviously, possibilities are endless, but it screams it's gonna be more than just the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah, I'm track. So the voice of Jabba the Hutt was Larry Ward. I don't know. In my head, I'm like, okay, so who's Larry Ward? I have no idea. Sorry, this is a little off topic, but
honestly,
or not off topic, but it's
the way I see it, if you had asked me that question, I would have never told you that answer. So
yeah. So I mean, Jabba was in the 3rd movie, so just one movie. But anyways, yeah. I mean, I think Road of the Hutt's probably set for bigger stuff outside of the movie, like you're saying. Like it would make sense. Like that would make sense. Just because of the name, the name being attached to the character.
yeah, and like I said, I mean, I'm spitballing ideas here, so
No,
it's not like
it's a good spitball. That's a good one. It's a big hard one. Yeah.
So, I mean, if they end up doing them, just be like, okay, yeah, whenever you want to hire me, bring. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, right. I'm ready for my job, Miss Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh man! All right.
I'll take your job.
Oh, all right. But yeah, like I said, totally happy with it. I can't see anything bad coming from it. I mean,
No, I don't think so.
It's actually interesting because until they mentioned the name, it never even crossed my mind that he would still be around, that they brought him in, that he would be there. I mean, yeah, obviously Clone Wars movie, we mentioned him, he's there, but who really thought about Road of the Hutt after, I mean Return of the Jedi, Jabba's dead, no mention of him afterwards. Who really thought of him, or, oh yeah, hey, let's bring him into the picture now?
Like I don't even remember them saying that his name was Rhoda in Clone Wars. I
don't remember that. Yeah.
I mean, obviously they didn't go, Stinky the Hutt has been kidnapped.
Yeah.
They probably said Rhoda, but I just don't remember it.
I think they just said Jabba the Hutt's son has been
That's
kidnapped.
probably it too, right? Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking that they said, and they didn't say a name. So
I don't know. I have a feeling they probably did, but like you guys, I didn't think of it either. So yeah, like I said, I'm excited to see what they do with it. So
yeah, well, I'm sure we'll start seeing more names pop up now that the movie has been wrapped with filming. Now that they're in the post production stuff.
Speaking of which, let's segue that into our next story.
That was made to segue. That was done purposely.
And want me to take this one? Or you guys want to take it, or
I'll take this one because I did the segue.
Okay. That works for me.
All right, this is at a deadline.com. This says The Mandalorian and Grogu, Johnny Coyne reprising role from Disney Plus series and Jon Favreau movie. So exclusive, Johnny Coyne will be reprising his role as Imperial Warlord in Jon Favreau's feature take of the Mandalorian streaming series, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Imperial Warlord is part of the hologram Shadow Council in Episode 7, Season 3 of The Mandalorian, in which he and other Imperial ranking officers meet with Giancarlo Esposito's villain, Moff Gideon. Gideon informs them about the Mandalorians' plans to take back their home planet on Mandalore, while also questioning the whereabouts of Admiral Thrawn, a very notable bad guy in the Star Wars canon. The Shadow Council operates secretly against the New Republic. In that episode, Imperial Warlord... Oh, got an ad. Close. Come on. Jeez, like right in the middle of this. Okay. The Shadow Council operates secret. Oh, we did that. In that episode, Imperial Warlord tells the group that the opportunities in plundering the hyperspace lanes, he's accused by Captain Gilad Paleon, that his hit and run operations are gaining too much notice. So Coyne joins a growing cast that includes Pedro Pascal, Sigourney Weaver, and Jeremy Allen White. So this makes the fourth cast. I find it funny. Like, does he not have a name in that? He's just Imperial Warlord. That's it. Like,
I don't think they ever brought up a name. But if you think about it, I mean, outside of the people that were really important to see there,
there's Paleon and
Paleon was one of the important ones because anybody who knows Thrawn knows Paleon. I think it was very important that they brought him up. He had to be a part of that Shadow Council. I'm glad they did it. The only other person,
and Hux would be...
Hux's father was the other one.
Yep.
Mhm.
So outside of that, nobody else was really mentioned by name.
Right.
So it makes it surprising that this is the guy that they came in with next and said,
yeah,
this guy's going to be in the movie.
I feel like they're like, okay, so we said Sigourney Weaver, we said Jeremy Allen White. Here's Johnny Coyne. You're like, huh? Like, no.
Your favorite.
I saw the picture and I'm like, the guy from Mom. Like, I don't know if you guys ever watched the CBS series Mom. He was a boyfriend for one of the older ladies or whatever. That's the only reason I know him.
I would have never known.
I don't know.
That's funny.
But anyways,
I mean,
the rest of the article is just basically just a bunch of his like acolytes, like a bunch of stuff he's been in or whatever it is. But there's there's one part. Favreau co-wrote the screenplay with Dave Filoni. What we know from the footage shown on D23 back in August is that The Mandalorian Grogu features a Hoth-like landscape a la 1980s The Empire Strikes Back with AT-ATs. Also, Babu Frick from Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker has a cameo, along with Red Alien Zeb from Filoni's animated series. He's not a red alien.
It was
I know he
cartoon.
He was purple, like
and we
get your facts straight.
and we seen him in the show. He was still purple.
He was still purple, so I don't know where the red's coming from, but
so yeah, what we've learned today is that this writer is colorblind.
They really know their Star Wars.
Right. Come on, get your stuff from Jeff Schneider, okay?
She must have been getting it straight from LH. Or...
LH and TW.
Yep, there it is.
LH and T Dubs. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I mean, for me, this doesn't really hype my excitement about this movie more.
It's just basically he's there. I mean, I would have been
there.
I would have been more excited if they had said Xander Berkeley, the guy who played Paleon, was going to be in the movie.
Well, I feel like this is just telling us that We're gonna see the Shadow Council again, obviously, right? So,
or at least a couple of members. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I would expect to see Captain Paleon. I would hope, but
I mean, it almost seems like it would make sense to me considering. I mean, spoiler alert: we left the end of the Ahsoka season with obviously Thrawn getting back to the known Star Wars galaxy. Basically, obviously, he would probably meet back up with Paleon at that point if he shows up there. I mean, you would almost expect to see Paleon just, if anything, to advance some of Thrawn's story, going through into whatever's going to happen next. I'm not saying Thrawn's going to be in the movie, but
no, because I think that would take a lot of focus off of what they're trying to do in that movie. But
and I don't want them to put Thrawn in that movie for that purpose. Exactly. But having someone like Berkeley as Paleon, maybe just to say, well, yeah, right now Thrawn's sweeping through this part of the galaxy right now, just to advance the story a little bit, so that when we get to the next part where Thrawn is there, we don't have to see him starting to do some of the stuff he does. Maybe he's already got a foothold. It may not be a bad idea.
I would say they should do like an extra credit, and then a cutscene, at the end of the movie, and then there's Thrawn starting off. This will catapult you into like Ahsoka season 2, and whatever direction they're going in.
Yeah.
Take a page from Marvel.
I mean, that's the other thing. It's like this guy here. It's like, I mean, great for you, Mr. Coin. I'm happy to see you're in the movie, but I would almost get that feeling that he would be part of that cutscene with the whole council standing there and whatever being said.
It's just funny, like you write a whole about this, and he doesn't even actually have a name. Like, he's not credited name. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why waste your time? I just don't get it.
But at the same,
good for you, Johnny. Good for you, Johnny.
But at the same time, it does tell me one thing, though. I mean, if this is the extent of the news that we're pulling out of this movie, I mean, think about it. Back when George was making prequels, people were all over that thing. I mean, we knew more about the prequels than we wanted to know. I will give Disney one thing. When they took over Star Wars, we don't really get a lot of news about Star Wars that they don't give us. I mean, it's not like, and I say in the sense of like, with this movie, how much do we really know outside of this? I mean, Imperial Warlord #1 is in the movie.
Yeah, right. Oh no. He's secretly the villain of this movie.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I give them credit. I mean, they may not make the best Star Wars. They may screw up a lot of things, but they don't let anything sneak out.
Yeah. Also, like, we kind of know that the premise is that they're searching around the Outer Rim trying to find Imperial remnants. Maybe it's a thing where, part of the story is he finds this Imperial Warlord's base, and that, for the time being is kind of the primary villain, You know what I mean?
Could be.
You never know. I mean,
Something like that. And then who knows? Maybe Thrawn like shows up there to like pull this guy out at the end, save him for another day, something like this.
No. The Empire needs fall guys, so he's gonna be a fall guy.
Yeah, I mean, he probably ends up being the guy that Thrawn shows up and he has to kill him off so that get him out of the way so that he can take a bigger foothold in the remnant.
Yeah. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Imperial Warlord.
Sorry, but your services will no longer be needed.
The services will no longer be needed.
Maybe he'll give her the Morgan Elspeth treatment. Go hold them off while we escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with no fighting experience at all. Yeah, go ahead. Get in there.
Oh boy. All right. So that being said, let's move on to the next story.
But you don't want to keep talking about Johnny Coin?
I mean, there's a lot there, but I'm thinking maybe it's time. Maybe it's time.
Okay, all right. We'll save some for later. Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't want
let's
to talk about them all. Like,
let's do that.
Should we try to guess a name if they're gonna give him like an actual name?
it's
No.
got to be like, what do you guys? Okay, what do you guys think in the chat? What do you think his name's gonna be? You guys tell us.
Yeah.
right
There
now,
you go.
right now he's Imperial Warlord #1. So
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the here is the link, guys. Guys can check it out, and you take a look at his photo, and you tell us what you think his name will be in the movie.
All right. Moving on from there, let's go into our next story. You want to cover this one, Swamp, or you want me to grab it?
Oh, yeah, I'll grab it. All right, Diego Luna confirmed for Star Wars Celebration Japan.
Yes!
Big surprise, huge surprise. Nobody knew this was coming at all.
Yeah.
No, clearly with his role in Andor season 2 as the guy, Mr. Cassian Andor. Yeah.
The guy.
All right, so hold on. The start of this is all broken up. This comes in last month's announcements that his fellow Rogue One alumni Mads Mikkelsen will be attending Star Wars Celebration Japan as a guest. And August reveal that Alan Tudyk will also be there. And it seems that with second season of Andor on the horizon, next year's Star Wars Celebration will be going big on Andor and Rogue One. They join other confirmed guests such as acolytes Manny Jacinto, young Boba Fett Daniel Logan, old Boba Fett Django clone Tamara Morrison, C-3PO actor Anthony Daniels, Ahsoka's voice actor Ashley Eckstein, and veteran Star Wars designer Doug Chiang. One sec, guys. Other guests will surely be announced over the next few weeks and months as we get closer to Star Wars Celebration Japan, which will take place from April 18th to 20th, 2025. Some Japanese-inspired key art has already been revealed for the event, along with some particularly cool badge art. It's very likely that attendees will get a sneak peek at Andor Season 2, maybe even a screening of the first 3 episodes, since the series will start streaming 2 days after the convention wraps. Beyond that, there should be an update on The Mandalorian and Grogu, with reports that the project has finished multiple reports of new casting updates arriving by the day. Hopefully we'll get an update on whatever's going on with Daisy Ridley's Star Wars film, and maybe confirmation that James Mangold is officially starting work on the Dawn of Jedi film. There's plenty to get excited about.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but this is like the biggest non-piece of news.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure this is like exactly what we said talking about Celebration last week, that we expected to see Andor stuff, all the other things that is said here in this article. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
the only one I wasn't expecting was Manny Jacinto, to be honest. But
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
but I mean, it is still a Star Wars franchise, and obviously they're going to bring somebody from the Acolyte there, I guess. But
I mean, not for nothing. If there's anybody that you're gonna bring from it, he'll be the one.
absolutely,
I mean, because he
absolutely.
surprisingly, he ended up being the best part of the show, or a show I wasn't overly crazy about.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yep.
You guys don't want to see LH having her own feature on there?
Oh, you want
No,
us to answer that one for you?
Okay, so if LH had her own panel, how many people would you think would show up to that panel?
I mean, there's a surprising amount of people that ended up liking the show anyway, so there
and
probably
also
there'd
for
probably be
like
an audience there for it.
also for the memes to like catch her saying something stupid, like you know what I mean?
So
Ambulance
the
chaser
so
type thing.
it would be full then. Okay, all right, good.
Yeah.
Everybody's there with their recorders going, okay, all right, LH,
Okay, when's she gonna say something
when are you gonna
stupid?
say something?
Yeah,
That
newsworthy.
that room has the most cameras in it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I most of the stuff we've kind of discussed on with Celebration. Obviously, every episode that we do, we're going to continue to talk about Celebration because things are going to keep popping up for Celebration. And it's just going to keep getting us more excited about Celebration because I'm already excited about Celebration. But as it gets closer and closer to it, like I just get giddy because I love Celebration so much. Just
yeah,
wish I could go, but
yeah, same here. I will say, I mean, there are a couple things in the story that actually caught my eye. Like, I hadn't caught the idea that Mads Mikkelsen was going to be there. Which almost makes me wonder, will he be in Andor season 2? I mean, because the time period's right.
I know. I feel like it's like a 90% chance that he's going to be in the movie just for like a short cameo. I don't. He's not going
Yeah.
to be. You know what I mean? But
Oh
I think it's
no.
within those last 3 episodes that we'll see the characters that we like, the cameo characters that we knew from Rogue One.
But I mean, if they play it right, I mean, you could be him, setting him up, and trying to think of his name now, Brannick, Ben Mendelsohn,
Ben, yeah.
setting them both up for where they would be at the beginning of Rogue One. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. So, I mean, I could see that. Alan Tudyk obviously makes sense because, I mean, K2SO definitely gonna be in this season.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously, you get the typical people that show up there every year: Daniel Logan, Tamara Morrison. Anthony Daniels can't get away from Star Wars if his life depended on it because he loves it too much.
Ashley Eckstein, she like lives there.
Yeah.
So.
I will say though, Doug Chiang, I'm interested to see what they would do with him.
Well, they brought him in last time. He was featured in. There was a panel, I think, that he was featured in last Celebration, I believe, and I think it went over pretty well. So I think that's why they're bringing him back.
Yeah, it's a shame because I mean that's unfortunately the stuff that you don't end up getting a chance.
Well, that's it, right? Yeah. It's not a big one. It's more for people that are interested in the behind the scenes stuff and the art and the design of all that stuff, right? The artwork more.
Which I know if I ever win, that's something I would.
I would go to as many as I can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would love. Listen, would love to see it. I would definitely enjoy it, and the fact that, like they said, obviously, Andor's coming out 2 days later. I expect a major push, and major. That's gonna be pretty much really what they're gonna be all about. So
yeah. I do figure, like, when they say the screening of the first 3 episodes for just the people that went to that thing, I feel like that's going to happen. I think they've done this before.
yeah.
In a previous one where like a show was coming out like right after Celebration and they gave everybody like first view of it. Um, but I feel like do another. It's kind of, I don't think they're like. Do you guys think that they're going to wait up until 2 days before Andor is dropped to give us the trailer? Like, I feel like they might give us a
No.
trailer beforehand.
I think.
Yeah, they probably will.
Um. if you're looking at like a final trailer, because I don't think it's gonna be. It's definitely not gonna be like the first trailer we see. No, that'd just be stupid.
Yeah, we'll get like a teaser for sure, like of some sort. Yeah.
Maybe
I
a
mean,
final trailer.
Yeah, because otherwise you're gonna have an angry, restless crowd showing up in Japan, saying, "Where the hell's my trailer?" It's like 2 days before it's gonna come out. Yeah, you can't wait that long. And if you're, and on top of that, if you wait that long, I'm starting to become to a point where I'm a little worried about how the season's.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, why haven't you given us anything? It's like if I'm really looking for like a trailer that's going to be released, maybe the very first teaser for Mandalorian Grogu, maybe something for Visions, maybe something for like a Tales of the Jedi or Part 2 that's coming out. If they're going to have stuff like that, but definitely. You better not be giving me the first Andor trailer at that point.
Yeah, that'd be kind of dickish, to be honest.
I mean, honestly, if you really want to play things right, we should be. I would say we should be seeing at least a teaser trailer for Andor no later than Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's a good place to put it. I mean,
Skeleton Crew will just have ended right there.
Yeah.
And it's time to move on to the next project, and that's the.
Yeah, if they want to keep the ball rolling, right? Keep everything going.
Well, I think you kind of have to at this point. But that's going to play into a later story that we're going to talk about, so I'm not going to go any farther than.
Okay.
For now.
All right.
But
yes. So yeah, we can wrap up the celebration talk because I mean we're gonna keep talking about it every time we have a chance. April 18th to the 20th, guys. Next year, 2025 in Japan. We'll talk again about it. So we can move on.
Yeah, I mean we'll definitely be talking a lot about it because it's Star Wars. How are we not going to talk about it? But let's get to the next story here. This one's coming out of Star Wars Newsnet. This is also involving Andor Season 2. And it basically says Lucasfilm adds a couple more promotional images. Let's see, Lucasfilm has put up a few more promotional images for Andor Season 2, starring Bix Caleen, Cassian Andor, and Mon Mothma. They have also released a high-resolution version of some of the pictures Empire Magazine had put up in November. One shows Mon Mothma sitting at a desk. Presumably, this is not only Coruscant as well, but likely Mon's private office. Whatever it is she's looking at, she seems engrossed by. We don't know too much about Mon Mothma's role in the second season, though given what we know about her character and other projects, mainly Star Wars Rebels and Rogue One, we know that she doesn't stay on Coruscant for much longer. It remains to be seen if Andor will retcon Mon's escape from the Empire, Rebels, or just skip over it entirely, letting fans know that the Rebels tell that story on its own. Yeah, I said that. I'm sorry. We also have Diego Luna.
I was gonna say, I think that's where we first seen young Saw Gerrera, right? When they rescued or did that rescue mission.
No,
No,
it would have been in Clone Wars, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw him there, and not to mention
with his sister, I think.
Not to mention he was in the first season of Andor as well. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so back to the story. We also have Diego Luna as Cassian on the set. And it shows him. It says here, it shows him basically sitting in looks like a TIE fighter. And if you look at the fighter that's there, it actually looks like the TIE Avenger, or as I knew it back in the day, the first version of the TIE Advanced. I want to come back to that.
Okay.
But the next picture, the third picture, sees Bix and Cassian sat around a table discussing something. Building in the distance beyond the window looks fairly reminiscent of the hotel on Ferrex, though it seems inadvisable for either one of them to head back there. The bar itself looks a little too clean for Ferrex, though. Perhaps it could be Coruscant, and that building in the background is one of the planet's many skyscrapers. That seems likelier. Presumably, Bix has recovered from her traumatic experience at the hands of Deidre Miro and is on the job with Cassian. It is possible these images were featured in Empire magazine, didn't immediately make their way online, but we thought we'd highlight them either way. See more images from Empire that we had already seen below. In case you missed them, it shows pictures of Ben Mendelsohn as Orson Krennic, pictures of Deidre Mero, just more shots of. Got one here of Stellan Skarsgård as Lutheran Rail. There's a lot of pictures here. But the one that interests me the most, like I said, going back to this one here with Diego Luna in what looks like a prototype of a TIE Advanced. Because that brings me back to my all-time favorite Star Wars game, which is TIE Fighter. Old game. It was basically a space simulator. You're basically introducing this fighter into the game, into the series' canon now. And that's to me that's exciting because it just harkens back a lot of memories, a lot of fun from just playing that game. Obviously, the other part of that was the TIE Defender, which was introduced as into the series, into Star Wars as Thrawn's project. So I'm almost hoping that we'll get a little bit of information on who was behind this, and maybe we'll hear a little bit more what maybe steals this TIE fighter. I don't know, but I'm just really excited to hear where they go with it. Other than that, what do you guys have to say
about the TIE fighter or about
no,
the whole
about
thing?
about the whole thing? I mean, like I said, that's just the one thing that I latched onto when I saw this.
I mean the images look great. You know, obviously with the images here, you can definitely tell between some of the images with Diego Luna. Obviously, there is, we know the time jump. There's going to be time jumps, but you can tell between a couple of them that, he looks a little different based on his hair, based on clothes, based on whatever's going on. Director Krennic, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see him again. He was like my favorite character in Rogue One. I loved it. He did such a great job.
Yeah,
So I'm excited for him to come back. But yeah, I mean, it all looks good. I think with that picture where they're sitting at the table and discussing something, I feel like that whole paragraph. I'm just like they're just reaching for something. They're just reaching for trying to figure out what the planet is. And like, I feel like everybody's just probably far off on what it is. I don't think they're on Coruscant. I don't think they're. It could be another planet that we don't even know.
Yeah.
I think that's I think that's just the beauty of being a Star Wars fan. Is everybody's always going to try to look at every picture and know what they can pull out of it.
That's all. Yeah, and that's it, right? Like that's. I'm not like bashing it or anything. I'm just like it's just that whole paragraph is just a reach. I'm just like, whatever. They're just trying to speculate what planet it is. It could be just some planet that they're just gonna make up anyways and put it in the story,
Yeah.
But I really hope that Diego Andor he's stealing that X-wing. That'd be or TIE fighter. Sorry, not X-wing. The TIE fighter. It'd be cool just to see him like, like just like he must be like stuck somewheres and he's ready to get
Trying
into
to
it
escape
and
or something.
trying to escape or something. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that'd be cool. right?
Yeah, it's
Um,
um, well,
Yeah, pretty cool images. I don't know if anything really particularly stood out to me. Yeah, I do agree that like any of the stuff with gold there is like all Coruscant most likely, but yeah, images look good. Andor's suit there looks like you guys said it's a little different. Looks more like a fighter now of some sort. um, yeah, some cool pictures. The one that makes me the most curious is the one that shows Luthen and Mon Mothma, and they're standing there, and there's like the stormtroopers in the background.
yeah, yeah,
I was about to bring
Really
that
makes
one
me,
up myself. Yeah,
yeah, just kind of like I'm curious what that is. Like if if those stormtroopers are approaching them to try to, arrest them, or you never know.
yeah. I mean, I would like to see the story of how they finally get her off of Coruscant, and I don't know, maybe she is in trouble. Maybe they do realize who she is, and she's got to get away. I mean, that would be. I'm interested in
I
the story. That's all I can. That's what
yeah.
I'm
Well, I agree. I just
Yeah,
hope they don't retcon anything either, right? Like they're saying, it remains to be seen if Andor will retcon Mon's escape from the Empire and the Rebels, or just skip over it entirely. So,
yeah,
uh,
I'm hoping they don't
I
skip it entirely. I mean, like I said,
I don't hope I hope there's with all the skipping that's going on around already with all the yearly jumps. I
yeah,
mean, it's possible that it could happen with a year jump, but I figure that they won't per se focus on it too much, but they might bring it up that she had to escape, or she had to be, or there might be like one episode where it half focuses on her and she got out, and she's, now she's, I don't know, I guess running the rebellion, or I don't know, whatever's going on.
well, I mean, to me, it's one thing I would say is it would be a good opportunity. Well, I'm trying to think back to the actual story where she started to come into Rebels, and when she declared the basically the alliance, and I'm trying to think where those guys all were when that happened, and almost to the point of, does that mean we could see any of the Rebels characters possibly in here as well? Not, I mean,
yeah,
obviously quick cameos, no real push in the story, but you never know what we could see.
yeah, yeah. Or even Fulcrum, as she was called back then, Miss Ahsoka Tano.
I mean,
Maybe. I mean, it's possible.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I feel like if that was a thing, we probably would have heard something about it, and it would be a big deal, I suppose. But
They
but
could save it
but
though.
but
One
that
of those
brings,
things they could
yeah,
save.
I think that brings me back to that whole idea from before of we don't really get much out of these things than what they tell us. I
Right.
mean, I've
yeah,
got to give Disney credit. They're good at holding back the information they don't want to.
I feel that if I was told that Ahsoka would have a small cameo, I think it would ruin it for me. I would rather be surprised and be blown away and be like, "Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, there she is."
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
I think
yeah,
that's. I mean, going back to into season 2 of Mandalorian. I mean,
yes,
when Luke Skywalker shows up, if I had known that going in,
yeah, it would have
yeah,
been ruined.
yeah, it's like I was so happy to see. I mean, there was speculation, but everybody was like, "Nah, there's no way they'd do that. There's no way it would happen." So when it happened, it was like, "Oh yeah, this is awesome." Yeah,
Well, it still would have
surprised
been
me.
awesome, but it also, if I would have known, I wouldn't have been out of my seat going,
Yeah,
like I was literally out of my seat and like kneeled down, and then yeah, I was like having an out of body experience, and I wouldn't have had that if somebody would have told me. So
yeah, and it was amazing. And I mean, basically, I'm back in my childhood at that moment. So that's the awesome thing. So yeah, moments like that. Keep doing what you're doing and surprise me, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, good shots here. I feel like there's a couple good stories to be told, and I'm really interested in where they're gonna go because there's a few characters here I'm really curious as to where they fit in and
Where they're gonna fit in, yeah.
yeah, because I mean, if I had to make any bold predictions out of this, I don't see Luther and Rail surviving this season.
I agree. I agree.
And I hope if that's the case, they make it a grand exit. So, actually, I don't see a lot of people surviving this season. And obviously,
Well, I mean, they might go along the same lines as Rogue One, right? Where they're just everybody's gonna die, so a lot of these characters are not gonna pop up again. So I would have figured that there's gonna be probably a handful of them probably gonna be gone from existence.
yeah, and if honestly, I would if I didn't already know that he's gonna be in Rogue One and that's where he dies, I would figure Andor wouldn't survive this. But
yeah, right. Yeah.
But so it goes. But
yeah. Spoilers, guys. Sorry, I didn't put the spoiler alert.
I forgot to tell you that one, guys.
If you haven't seen Rogue One yet, oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
But yeah. Moving on, let's move on to the next one.
Moving on.
Who wants to grab this one?
I'll take it.
All right.
All right, this one is a first. I don't think I've seen this fictionhorizon.com, but it's straight out of fictionhorizon.com. Sean Levy's Star Wars movie progresses as Rey's film hits a roadblock. Rumors suggest.
There's a reason I put this story here.
Okay. Published December 14th. So what was that like?
This is pretty much like right after the last episode.
A couple days ago, yeah. A couple days ago at least. Several exciting Star Wars movies are in the works, including The Mandalorian Grogu, which is set to release May 22nd, 2026, with Jon Favreau directing. Other upcoming films include ones by Shermaine Obaid Chinoy, Dave Filoni, James Mangold, TW, some of which are still in development. Movies like Lando, starring Donald Glover, and Rogue Squadron by Patty Jenkins are also planned, along with a film from Sean Levy and a new project by Ryan Johnson. Updates on most of these projects have been rare recently, especially after the announcement of a new Star Wars trilogy directed by Simon Kinberg. Okay, so before I keep going, like just listing all those off, you're just like, oh my gosh, like just so much stuff has been announced and we still don't know what direction we're going in. You know what I mean?
It's
just so much crap. So much, man. Like, why do they do this to us?
So much nothing.
So much nothing, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay. In his latest reports, Daniel Richman shared some rumors about 3 upcoming movies. So we got some rumors. I can confirm what Jeff Snyder said, that now that Sean Levy's Star Wars movie is the one to move forward before all the others. Rey movie is still on hold, Mangold. One needs more writing.
That's the reason
all right, so Jeff Snyder, yeah. So like, again, anything with Jeff Snyder, in Schneider we trust. Okay.
I mean, like I said, the guy's his stock is rising. He knows what he's talking about, and his stuff comes to pass. So,
like, he must have like, man, like how inside is he? Like this, that's crazy.
I mean, it's kind of almost scary that his name kind of fits into it, so he can call himself that.
Schneider. Let's break this down. November 2022, it was reported that Sean Levy was in talks to direct a Star Wars film after working on Deadpool and Wolverine and Stranger Things. However, in September 2023, Levy mentioned that the movie's development started but got delayed due to the 2023 Writers Guild of America strike. After the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, Levy confirmed he is still actively working on the film, which isn't surprising. On the other hand, there's been nothing but bad news about Ray's movie. Last we heard, the film was put on hold after the writer and Knight left the project. It's also unclear what role Ray will play in the upcoming trilogy from Kinberg. And while her future in the franchise is being teased, the rumors around it are not positive. No crap.
Yeah.
Finally, about Mangold's movie. This isn't a rumor because Mangold gave an update himself just a week ago. He said that him and Beau Willimon are still working on the script and haven't finished it yet, so it's unclear what will happen next. He also mentioned that they are focused on completing the script before moving on to the next steps. Right.
I mean,
So in Schneider, we trust.
it's the reason like I said, it's the reason I put it there because I mean, if his name's involved, there's got to be something to the story. So
yeah, no, I agree. His name keeps coming up over and over and over again, right? So
I mean, and underneath that story, I put down the other story where that was on a deadline. It said he had already gotten Jonathan Tropper to write his movie, and this was back in July.
Yeah.
And it's a guy he's worked with on a couple of different projects. It doesn't say Deadpool and Wolverine, but he wrote the Adam Project with Levy. Let's see, 2014 movie.
Which also had Ryan Reynolds in it.
Yeah, This Is Where I Leave You, 2017 movie called Kodachrome. I mean, so these two have worked together fairly quite a bit. So, I mean, I get the impression these two are definitely on the same page. And suddenly here we are a week ago hearing that this guy's movie's getting pushed. It tells me that I have a feeling that these two have been pretty much going at this since Deadpool and Wolverine came out. I have a feeling that his script might be ready.
I think that, it makes, out of the names that are there, it makes sense completely with Sean Levy, especially with, the success from Deadpool and Wolverine, how much money he just made for Disney outright or Marvel, like whatever you want to call it, so the trust is obviously there. He can make the money. And, I think after the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, I agree with you that they probably have been working on it even before Deadpool and Wolverine, possibly, or while they were doing it. But with the success with Deadpool and Wolverine, I think he just got catapulted to the top.
Yeah.
And got the push, right?
Well, I think this is pretty much what happened. He decided to get to work on it. Deadpool and Wolverine, if I'm correct, made $1.3 billion for Disney. So I'm also getting the impression that even Bob Iger probably stepped in somewhere and said, "Don't you dare mess with this guy's project."
Yeah, you're the man, Levy.
It's like this guy. This guy makes money. I don't want to hear anything about creative differences. It's like, if I find out this guy walks away about creative differences, all hell's gonna break loose at Lucasfilm. So that at that point, it's like, go for it. But the only thing that scares me is we have no idea what he's writing at the moment.
Yeah, but that's, honestly, like, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't necessarily need to know what he's doing. Like, to be honest, like, he's doing his thing, right? Like, I know we kind of know what's going on with the other movies, like what the kind of who they're basing it around, or what era they're gonna do it in, or whatever.
I think that's all.
Can I just be surprised for once? Like I don't need to be. I don't know. I don't feel like I needed to be laid out to me all the time. Like,
I mean,
I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, this. There's just still a small part of me. It's almost all I'm really screaming out of this is just what era are you working in? That's all I care about.
I feel at this point, like even the Ray stuff, I think it's slowly going away. That's what it feels like right now. Like they announced it. They're like, oh yeah, we're super going towards the, pushing the Ray stuff out. And then I feel like there was so much backlash with them pushing the whole Ray thing. They're like, oh, maybe we should do something else. And then, okay, let's push this one to the top. Okay, well, the next one's going to be Sean Levy. I still feel like Mangold's movie is going to be done before the Ray movie comes out. You know what I mean?
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, obviously with him, I mean, they just said he just came out himself and said my movies we're not ready, but we're working on it.
He is doing it. Like,
yeah, he's at least saying, hey, we're still working on this thing right now. So
right, yeah.
At least hearing a progress report saying we're still working on it, that has me happy because it's not, hey, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Because we hear that too much.
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah, I feel like he said though that he wants it to be, because it's a trilogy, the like kind of extension from Ray onward, right? I think that's what he was saying in that one article we had a little while back when they were talking about the difference between the different Ray projects and potential and stuff.
Yeah, but that doesn't involve either of these two guys. And I don't, whatever Sean Levy's working on, I don't think he's working on a Ray project. I mean,
well, that's what he said, though, wasn't it? Is
no,
that he wanted to work on?
Yeah, that's Simon. That's Simon.
Maybe that was Kinberg. Yeah. Okay.
Like Kinberg and oh boy, whatever her name is. They're both doing the Ray stuff, right?
Yeah, and they're both saying that they're doing totally separate things. It's like I don't believe that for a second anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a whole nother story to play. But as far as the Sean Levy thing,
yeah, I don't know. Those two other things, it did seem like they had different ideas of what it was going to be. Like the Obeyed Shinoy thing is more like Jedi school empowerment of women type of story, and then the other one was more like let's continue the Skywalker saga as a trilogy and blah blah blah. So
yeah, but I mean, end of the day, that part one of the new trilogy could be the women's empowerment, so on and so forth. Yeah. I mean, I don't see the point of we're having enough trouble getting one movie out, and you're going to tell me you're going to try to make four. I just don't buy it. Yeah, same character. I'm not buying it at this point.
I don't know. I think we're thinking of it in like kind of the wrong perspective. Like the Obeyed Shinoy thing is, I don't think it's gonna feel like, if it ever does come to fruition, I don't think it's gonna feel like a Star Wars film. It's gonna feel like a teenage show. You know what I mean? Like a
like the Acolyte ended up feeling
like the Marvels.
Oh, like TW's Thor projects, or like but with different subtext. But
no, he'll bring in some New Zealand talk and some Asgardian stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's what it'll be like, kind of like the Miss Marvel style of like, yeah, just kind of very new agey, you know,
very woke,
like Gen Z. Yeah, social justice, etc.
And deep down, I hope not, but you never know.
Well, that's what she said, is that she wants, like, she's like, I'm an activist first and a filmmaker second and all this stuff. So yeah,
I feel like they probably like, oh, the Acolyte just happened. Maybe you might be taking a back seat for now. We'll come back to you.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because because the Acolyte really did well. So
I mean, maybe we don't need to have the activism so much in our program. Let a good story work its way through.
that's all we want. That's all we ever want is a good
Yeah.
story. That's it. That's it. That's all viewers. That's all fans want.
I don't know. Fortunately, that's how it works. But needless to say, Mr. Levy, hope you're pushing through your project. I hope it's going well. I hope by celebration we're getting some good news about your movie, and maybe a date thrown on it, which would be a wonderful thing. I don't think anybody here would disagree with that.
No. Yeah, especially after the money he's made and the stories that he's done, and the stuff that he's been involved with. Like, a lot of his stuff is pretty good. So, it is exciting in that sense.
Like there's almost a part. There's almost a small part of me that's almost wondering if he's sitting there and he's like saying to himself, "I don't know who's the Deadpool of Star Wars."
Oh my gosh!
Trying to make that work.
Who do you think it is?
Okay,
Jar
who
Jar
would be
Binks?
the Deadpool of Star Wars right now? What do you guys think? Who is the Deadpool of Star Wars? Okay, I want you guys to tell us.
Jesus, I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
I want to see some funky answers.
Yeah, definitely throw that one out there because I would love to hear it.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, let's move on to our next one. I'm gonna actually cover this one myself. Because I kind of pulled this one up out of nowhere. And I think this is gonna end up being a little bit of a discussion for us. I was looking through Star Wars stuff and I kind of came across this, and this actually came out before our last podcast. I didn't see it then, but I did see it now. And it comes out of the Hollywood Reporter, and the title of the story was Hollywood's Biggest Winners and Losers of 2024, from Joe Rogan to Kevin Costner. And it basically goes through, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing. That doesn't make sense. But it's picking like who had good years, who had bad years, and obviously it shows like different actors that had a good year, different actors that had bad years, certain franchises that had good years. But unfortunately, as one of the losers of the year, they picked the Star Wars franchise as one of the losers. And I'm just going to go through the one little paragraph that they put with it. It says, another Star Wars film pushed, another Star Wars trilogy announced, and in quote, parentheses, does anybody think these announcements are real and not a money laundering scheme? It says, another Star Wars series that flopped. This one, $180 million, and generated massive controversy and fan division, some of which was super toxic. But also, how many times can Disney blame its audience for not liking what it makes? Also says, the franchise's new kids show, Skeleton Crew, is getting good reviews for its first 2 episodes, so that's at least something. Part of the blowback against Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy is just people being jealous. Who doesn't want to be able to have projects repeatedly stumble and still keep one of Hollywood's top jobs? The rest of us can only dream of failing so successfully.
Yeah, it's so true. Man, I wish I could fail so bad at my job and still keep it.
But looking at this, the first thing that popped into my head was, I can't argue it. Because, yeah, thanks to the Acolyte. I mean, we started the year with Bad Batch. I thought Bad Batch, it didn't end the way I wanted it to, but it was a fairly good season.
Yeah.
And I wasn't upset about it. But Tales of the Sith? It came out.
Tales of the Empire.
Tales of the Empire. That's what it was. I'm sorry. But Tales of the Empire came out, and not for nothing. End of the day, I wasn't. It was like, it wasn't that great. I was left a little disappointed by it. Excuse me. Then I see the trailers for the Acolyte, and the trailers I thought were alright. But again, like we were saying through the whole year, it's like these trailers don't look bad. But then LH opens her mouth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she kind of, I go from moderately hyped to, I don't know about this now. And then when the show comes out, I'm not that happy. The episodes aren't that good. There was a couple episodes, you could have just made one episode, and it would have been fine. And then you add a bunch of stuff that you said you weren't going to add, and you again, yeah, you really find a way to divide the fandom. I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the division of the fandom was the part that is most real about this. Like I think it's really disingenuous to say another flop from Star Wars. Like I'm pretty sure every season of everything has had success, even the Acolyte. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's really disingenuous for all these news things to just keep calling things flops when they're not actually.
But that's the thing. It's
But
like the question's there. How many times can Disney blame its audience for not liking what it makes? At what point is it not? Well, you don't like it. Well, you're just a racist. You're a misogynist, or you're this or that. At what point do we get to finally just accept? Maybe you're just not making any. Maybe you're just not making a good TV show for us to watch.
I think, overall, I mean, you have to agree and disagree. Like it's with I think I do both. Like Swamp said, like despite they hate the Acolyte gut, and I'm one of them. You know, the viewership on some of the episodes were like some of their best viewerships. You know, like in the beginning. So I mean, there was success and there was none. You know, the story was, we're not going to get into it, but it was it was up and down. But for the most part, like anything with a Star Wars, even like let's say The Last Jedi. Okay, The Last Jedi still made a boatload of money, right? You know, um,
But it's also what started the problem.
I get that too. But even with like Solo still made a decent amount of money.
Yeah, but it's still like talked of as being like a failure or a flop, right? Even though,
well,
it did have success.
At the end of the day, it did lose money. That's the problem. I mean, once you look at what it cost them to make it, what it cost them to promote it, and all the other stuff that was involved.
Okay, so like the business side of it, it was a flop. But personally, to me, I thought it was good. It was a good movie. So to me, it wasn't a flop. You know what I mean? Like, so there's different kinds of flops and losses and whatever. I mean, maybe I don't know what the loss thing they're looking at in this article. I mean, it could be, money. It could be whatever. But I mean, Solo lost money, but I enjoyed it. You know, it doesn't mean it's a loss. It's a flop for me, but it's a flop in business. I get it.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I agree with you. I thought Solo was a great movie. I think people didn't give it a chance. Unfortunately, people just didn't go because they were angry after The Last Jedi and said, "Screw this movie." And it's unfortunate because I think people ended up missing out on what ended up being a decent movie. But unfortunately, you do have to look at the business side of it too. Because if they're not making money at this, look at the damage that's been done. Um, it
But
it didn't make its money. Rise of Skywalker didn't make nearly what it should have made at the end of the day, and it's cost us what 5 years without seeing another movie. So the damage was done one way or another, which is unfortunate.
no, and I agree. I agree. It's it's just usually I think the outcome of this would be if like let's say it would be a win. The only way that it would be a win this year is if Kathleen Kennedy had been let go, or she retired this year, and I think that would have been a win for us. But it's gonna continue to be a loss. But it's just funny because you know these movies are these shows are losing money, or they're putting too much money into it. They're business wise, they're a failure, right? In the sense of they're spending too much money, they're not making enough money, the viewership goes down, but yet the money's still rolling into Disney, that Kathleen Kennedy still keeps her job. Like it, I don't know. It's a whole mix of crap going on at Lucasfilm, and I don't know.
Well, I mean that's the hard side of it because at the end of the day, let's face facts. You slap a Star Wars logo on something, it's gonna make money. Whether it makes the money you really want it to make or the money it really should make, that's another story. Like I said, I mean, unfortunately, even though I liked Solo was a flop. Um, Looking at, I mean, but it goes beyond that. I mean, merchandise sales, like the toys, they still. I mean, they're not at the rate that people don't buy them at the rate they did when the original trilogy came out, the prequels came out. I mean,
Well, no, that's a different time though. You can't honestly, you can't base what's going on now in Star Wars back to compare it to the trilogy, because
well,
you know
I'm
everything
not.
now is slapped star everything's like everything has Star Wars slapped to it nowadays, you know what I mean? So you can buy anything when Star Wars.
But
And
I'm thinking in terms of the things that you can relate. Obviously, like action figures, play sets, things like that. It doesn't hit with kids the way that it hit when we were kids. I mean, you could still go in, you could still find stuff on clearance in stores that even at clearance aren't going off the shelves, and that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's things around that people are going to buy no matter what. I mean, obviously, some of the toys, some of the lightsabers, um, things that there's different things. I mean, I even mentioned like underneath this, just as a reference thing. They're Columbia, Outfitters. Um, they've released a Star Wars collection this year. They've released a Star Wars collection every year for the past 8 years, and people don't really talk about it. But I do remember 5 or 6 years ago, they actually did a Hoth collection. And I remember they had a jacket that looked like Luke Skywalker's jacket that they had come out with, and I wanted that jacket. I never ended up getting it, and obviously can't get it now because the collection's over. But I mean, this year they're doing a Vader collection, and um uh I don't know if you remember back in it would be you, Andy, if anybody, because Swamp, I don't think you were around at the time. But there was a guy that would sit there, and he was a Star Wars: The Old Republic streamer, and he did a little bit of Galaxy Heroes, He went by the name Cherubi Knight.
No, I don't think I remember that.
Well, he's gone on to Star Wars. He's gone on to YouTube now, and he's changed his name, and he's now Lord Dagavir.
Okay.
I still talk to the guy. I still talk to him. I still consider him a friend. He's a really excited Star Wars guy. He understands his lore really well. If anybody that hasn't seen him, you should definitely go check his channel out. He's a really, really good Star Wars guy. And he loves talking to people about Star Wars. But he had put up a picture on Twitter because he ended up getting one of the Star Wars jackets. Now, I'm going to throw it out there. The Columbia collections, I like the idea. I want to get one. That stuff's expensive as all hell. You want to get a jacket, it's like $300.
Right,
yeah.
You want to get the parka,
it's like... I remember we talked about it last year.
Yeah,
I remember we talked about it last year. They had all these rebel-looking ones, and yeah, really cool. But yeah, it's $360 a jacket and stuff like that.
Yeah, like a T-shirt's like $60-$70. You want a pair of socks, it's like $50. The prices are ridiculous, but it's nice Star Wars stuff. But he ended up getting one of the jackets, and it was like, yeah, it looks really good on you. And I just mentioned that like there was one of those cloth jackets that I wanted to get, and it was like going on, but it's like, yeah, it's like, but this stuff doesn't sell like it should. If Star Wars was as popular as it could be. Sorry, I took a really long way to making that point. But
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like these Vader jackets, looking at it, it's a little bit it would take a certain type of person to like it, I think. But the shirts and stuff and socks, those all look really cool.
Yeah, and like I said, there's some really nice stuff there. But people are so upset with Star Wars right now, and I understand. I mean, this was not a good year for Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, Acolyte wasn't good. Bad Batch, a little disappointing at the end, but it was decent. Tales of the Empire, disappointing. So far, Skeleton Crew's been good overall. But is it going to make up for what we had this year? Really not making up enough.
And also, like, does it make me excited about like Skeleton Crew merch or anything like that? Not really.
No,
not really.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm excited about anytime that there's a new show that comes out is my Funko Pops. They make cool Funko Pops and all. I'm pretty sure I got one from each of the series that has come out at least.
Nice.
But yeah, the solo movie, I have like 10 of them. So I mean, you know, it doesn't really matter to me. But I get what you're saying, where I feel like there's such a mix of emotions nowadays with Star Wars that, yeah, I mean, sales of merchandise has gone down, and it's mainly, it feels like it's you know, a lot of it is because of, you know, the shows that are coming out or whatnot. And it's also, I feel it could be, there's so much of, like I said, there's so much stuff, so much Star Wars merchandise nowadays, like where it's like a dime a dozen. Like, it's not like feels like it's not worth anything anymore. Like, the franchise is like,
I agree with that too. Actually,
it's not so rare anymore.
It's not rare anymore, and I get how you're saying, like, and I do understand, like, the stuff from the original trilogy. Yeah, like that stuff, when they were putting merchandise out for that, you know, they didn't know what the future of Star Wars was going to be. Like, after those 3 movies, that was it. So when there was Star Wars merchandise, you held on to it and wanted to get it.
Well, I mean, but it wasn't even just that. It's like, I mean, I was the right age when the original trilogy came out. I mean, I was that kid that was growing up throughout those movies. I mean, I was 7 when Return of the Jedi came out, and you better be damn straight that, I mean, when Christmas came around that year, yeah, I want Star Wars toys. I want this, I want that, I want all this stuff. Obviously, I mean, there was some of that stuff under the tree. It was awesome. I don't see that. I don't see that with with the movies that came out. I don't see that with the series that are coming out. I mean, not for nothing. What? Not that I would have had a if I had kids and I don't have kids, but I don't know that I would have wanted my kids watching The Acolyte.
Well, my kids didn't.
I mean, but knowing what I know, they would have probably sat down with me and watched them anyway.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know now, some of the stuff that was there, I mean, I don't know if I'd want my kids watching it. I mean, just depends on how old they would be at that point. They would have been, but that's again another story entirely. But I don't see toys that came out of that I would be screaming, oh yeah, I would want stuff out of that show.
No.
Or
no, actually, yeah. The only one that I haven't gotten anything from yet is the Acolyte. So
yeah,
I did lie.
I
You
mean,
don't got your Basil Funko Pop?
Yeah, it's gonna be the robot or no if they put one out for that tracker, the tracker rat thing, or
Yeah, Basil.
yeah, or obviously the stranger, right? So
wait,
the two that I
you don't want one of the weird fat Jedi kid that had the binoculars in the hallway of the really bad Jedi temple.
yes, please. Yes, those are the ones I want.
Yeah.
Honestly, all of those I'll probably end up getting them because they're all going to be on clearance.
Point.
That's how I buy
Yeah.
things.
I mean, the one thing I would say, at least out of Skeleton Crew, I mean, again, there's nothing that would make me scream, "Oh yeah, I really want a lot of the toys from this thing right now." Because that's not a knock on the show, because like I said, so far I like the show, but I mean, I would probably be interested in the Lego of the ship. But I'm also a Lego junkie, so
Yeah, this chip's kind of cool.
if I had more room, I'd probably have a lot more Legos. But that's not.
We just gotta make more money from the show.
Yeah.
We start buying more.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
But like I said, I mean, I'm trying to think of how I want to answer that. How I want to say this. Considering that Star Wars has been considered one of the losers of this year, knowing what we know going into next year, do you think they can turn this around? I mean, the reason I say that is because I do have a feeling that Andor is going to be good. But as of right now, there's really not much else we're talking about Star Wars wise, other than Celebration. And who knows what we're getting out of Celebration. I'm not ready to speculate what we're gonna get out of that yet. Other than a lot of stuff about Andor, because Andor comes out days later.
Yeah, I mean, it's been brought up, in order for this franchise to be saved, it's been brought up not just by us. It's like any one of the the shows that I watch about Star Wars, it always comes up as, the regime of Kathleen Kennedy and whoever's under her has to go first. Like she's got to go. And then after that they can start, licking their wounds and trying to get things back in. I feel like it's going to take a while for the Star Wars fans, if at all, to truly trust Lucasfilm again to put out something good, And granted, right now Skeleton Crew's doing a great job so far. Andor's pretty promising. You know what I mean? Considering season 1. So there's some stuff that's looking up, but you know, with all these sprinkles of these other movies, is it happening? Is it not happening? Is it happening? Is it not happening? Is it happening? You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of us are just left wondering, right? But there's potential. Like, things can be put in place, and they could start going in the right track. Like, who knows? Like, I don't know. Like, it's such a can of worms right now that's been opened, and there's so much crap all over the walls right now. It's a hard cleanup. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the other thing. It's like, I think we're at a point where it is time for her to go.
Well, not just her though. Not just her. Everybody under her too.
Well,
like, her tight group, it's got to go. Gone.
Okay, so I mean, the only problem is I think Filoni's part of that tight group now.
No, well,
and that's the thing. It's like how do I put
or maybe her and her like number one, or you know what I mean? Like,
no, I hear. I know what you're trying to say.
Not that, I guess maybe not everybody, but like the ones that kind of think like her. You know, there's got to be her, and there's got to be like her assistant. I don't know, whatever they do, right? Because obviously she trained them. They think like her, all this stuff, right? So, they gotta go. And then maybe put somebody else, maybe take this role away from Filoni and just let him go back to doing what he was supposed to be doing. And, you know, he can focus on that. He'd probably be less stressed out. I don't know, like.
The funny thing is we don't hear a lot from Filoni, so I don't know. I mean, for all we know, he could be in his element.
You gotta think. He's probably got so much on his shoulders right now, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And it's just us spitballing what should happen, you know? We don't really know. We just see the outs. We just see what's going on from our point of view, but we could all be wrong, and Kathleen Kennedy is going to be around forever.
Yeah. Shoot, what was I going to say? Something with Filoni. Oh yeah, he let that Chiari-Mundi thing slip with the acolyte, so
Yeah.
he must be busy.
I'm just, yeah. I mean, you got to think, if things are starting to slip from Filoni, then he's definitely got to be, his mind is focused somewhere else and not on story, where, you know, his main job is creative. What is it? Creative head of creation, head of creative,
chief creative officer.
Chief creative officer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Dave, I don't know, man. I think the title has gotten a little bit too big for you. I think he needs to just step back. I don't want him to go anywhere. It's like he just needs to refocus, I think, you know.
Or at least maybe get your projects done before you really sit into this.
Well, maybe that too, right? Like, yeah, he's producing a movie with Jon Favreau. He's creating his own movie by himself. He's writing Ahsoka 2 by himself. You know what I mean? Like, he's got
to meld it all together in such a way.
And then everybody's coming at him going, hey, is this right? Hey, is that right? Hey, can I do this? Hey, can I do that? What's going on here? Huh? And then...
Hey, but you almost get to feel like maybe that was one of those days that LH came in with the Chiari-Mundi theme, and he just wasn't really paying attention. He's like, oh yeah, it's fine.
Because he probably didn't listen to her anyways.
And also that episode came up, he's like, dude, where the hell did that come from? You signed up? Wait, you signed up on it right here. God damn it.
She's talking and his eyes are just glazing over. Sorry, what did you say? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Whatever, LH. I need a signature. Yeah, whatever. Come here. Just get out of my office. See ya.
What am I signing for? Chiari-Mundi. Yeah, whatever. Just go.
Yeah, whatever.
And spice cream. And spice cream. It sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, LH. Okay.
I don't know. I just thought it was something maybe we might have needed to talk about. I mean, we're at the end of this year, so we're getting ready to go into a new year. A whole lot of new stuff hopefully happening. Like I said, I mean, I'm hoping good things will happen. I'm hoping. I mean, like I said, I think ANDOR will be good. I don't know what's coming out of Celebration, but I mean, obviously,
Wow.
we do have a movie to look forward to in 2026. I'm hoping all this comes together, but it's just tough when you see Star Wars hit a low, and you're starting to almost ask yourself, can they pull out of it?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've lost. There's definitely less Star Wars fans now. I think after what's been going on lately, and there's definitely, there's the optimistic. I'm still optimistic. Even though we've all been burnt quite a bit now with all
Yeah.
the stuff that's been going on. But ultimately, deep down, we're still any one of these shows that we talk about or that they put out. Like we never want them to fail. We always want them to succeed. We always want it to be the greatest thing to come out of Star Wars. And maybe that's our problem. We're just
Nah,
shooting too high.
I hear you. And like I said, I mean, I am also optimistic. I'm just a lot more cautious now. That's what.
Yeah, I know. Like, fool me once, fool me twice, I guess, right? But it's like fool me 15 times now. Like, what are you gonna learn? I don't want to learn. I just want a good Star Wars story. Okay, I don't want to learn. Just give me a good Star Wars story, please.
Yeah.
The next one is gonna be good. Okay, here we go.
That's all I.
That's all we ask. That's all we
All
ask.
right,
KK, come on.
All right, I'll bounce out of this now and we can move
Let's
on.
stop being depressed. Let's go to the show that's actually doing okay.
All right. So that being said, that's it for the news. Let's move on to the Skeleton Crew. Yeah, we're gonna hit this. We're gonna hit the spoiler alert. Because obviously this is still really new stuff. So if you have not watched episodes 3 and 4 of the oh my god, it's the Acolyte. If you haven't watched them, I guess don't, because you don't really need to. But if you haven't watched episodes 3 and 4 of Skeleton Crew, I'd say go watch them right now, and then come back a little later and hear what we got to say about it.
Don't go watch 3 and 4 of the Acolyte, please.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know why I brought that up. But we were just talking about it, so it was fresh in my head. But
get it out of your mouth. It's a bad taste.
yeah, it's done. It's done. All right. So who wants to cover episode 3?
I'll do it.
Or me?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Let me just take a drink here.
Well, we'll do the episodes for you. He'll do 3. I'll do 4.
Okay.
All right. So episode 3, very interesting as an astrogation problem. It's a cool title. Anyways, written by Christopher Ford and John Watts, directed by David Lowery. Runtime 40 minutes. On and Wendell, Farah, Neil's mother Numa, and KB's parents, Mary and Gary, are told by security droid that due to the kids going past the barrier, it is out of the jurisdiction of the droids. Jod helps the kids escape the brig, but they refuse to leave without SM-33, forcing him to go back and rescue him. As Brendar Pranik, identifies Jod as Silvo. They outwit the pirates and flee. Fern refuses to trust Jod. Wim and Neil are convinced that he is a real Jedi, and KB reluctantly admits that he is their only hope of getting home. Jod takes the kids to meet his friend, uh, Kim.
Yep.
Yeah, Kim.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, Kim. Anyways, a map expert that even he doesn't trust. Kim refers to Jod as Crimson Jack before revealing that At-Aten is among a series of legendary planets that have protected themselves with a barrier. She prints the coordinates, but Jod realizes that she was stalling for the authorities to arrive and forces the kids to flee. Jod finally admits that he is not a Jedi, but agrees that they must work together and get what they want and escape the authorities to their next destination. X-Wing Commander Kent interrogates Kim about the group's whereabouts as she quotes, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." Yeah, that's it for that episode.
So,
Yeah, Kim definitely is a pretty interesting character. The owl.
I feel like I
Owl.
wasn't expecting that. I feel like I was
Yeah.
expecting somebody else, and then the owl pops up. I'm like, oh, okay. This is
well,
the first in Star Wars, but okay.
well, if I remember right, the owl. I mean, she was in one of the trailers.
I know there was going to be an owl, but I didn't feel like it was going to be her. You know what I mean? Like the voice, I just wasn't thinking owl at this point. You know?
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I like the episode overall. I thought it was actually a pretty good episode. Um, it was kind of cool to see them finding their way out. Um, I I thought it was interesting him going back to get the droid. Like I said, the guy catches him and realizes who he is. After he had worked so hard to figure out how to get in there to get to the droid. um, and even then, once they're on the ship, um, my favorite moment was when he's sitting there and the kids are all looking at him like, "What are we gonna do?" And he's sitting there and he's eating, and he sits there, he just keeps eating and everything, and he sits there, he puts the bowl down, and he looks at all the kids and Neil's sitting there, you can hear his stomach going. Also, he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, there's more over there if you guys want some."
Yeah.
Because you almost get the impression like he only like made something for himself and like screw everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. Overall, I enjoyed the episode. I mean, I'm liking this. I'm liking the idea that Aten is like an important planet, and I'm really kind of
that there's like some lore behind it, you know?
yeah, and I'm starting to get
That's
really
pretty
curious
cool.
as to what it really is now. So, I mean, that's the one thing that I keep looking forward to as we keep going through the story.
Yeah.
The mystery of the planets.
Um, what else I really need to say at this point about it?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that like makes more sense after we do the other episode too, right? Like it's more to
Yeah.
say about the planets and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, because I think Jude Law is doing a great job. His character, there's a lot of like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of that, humor in him. Like there's, obviously he has a few names in the galaxy that he's been using, obviously.
Mhm.
Um, and
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't surprise me. He's a pirate, right? So, um, but that whole sequence where they're trying, like as soon as he's trying to get away with the droid, and that guy's like, well, I'm gonna have to tell that you were here. And then the cutscene goes, they're like talking in the ship, and you just see the ship in the background, like getting shot at and like whatever it
Yeah.
is, and he's just trying to like get away, and like gets on board and all this stuff, and then he's trying to get away from that oil, the oil line or the gas line.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
he's like, we're gonna go, and he does this like big thing, and like he makes a point to say that that's a strong gas line or whatever it is. It was just whatever. It doesn't seem forced.
Mhm.
Like he's the writing and the way that he's acting, and it seems genuine, right? That it's
I'll
coming
give
out
you
the
that.
way that it is, right?
It's come off well, yeah.
It's coming off well, right? And um it's he's doing a great job so far. What else? There was a cool scene when he went back for the droids. A B1 battle droid turned on, and said something about, did we win or something like that.
Yeah.
Did we win? Did we win? Or whatever it was.
Or falls apart.
Thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, I thought it was a cool Clone Wars callback, or Phantom Menace, I would say, maybe. I don't know. No, it would be, if they're saying did we win, it's probably, I don't know. Anyways, could be
Could have been anything at that
Clone Wars
point.
or whatever. Yeah, it could be anything, but it was still pretty cool to see. Yeah, there's another one in the next episode. It's pretty cool too. But yeah, I'm with you with the whole planets thing. I feel it's kind of interesting. It's a nice. It feels like it's. I'm not sure if it's something that they brought out of like legends and stuff, or if it's something that they made up for the show. Either way, I feel like it's a good. I feel like it's a good way to introduce the Old Republic kind of in canon. What I'm feeling it's they're starting to do a little bit, right?
Right.
Because I feel like these planets are older than we think, especially with like when they're saying there was like a mention of the kids learning about Alderaan and stuff, and they said something about the Great Civil War or whatever it was, and they didn't know about any of that, and so the planets were very uh very secretive in the sense with anything, right? So
Yeah.
so it is interesting. And I'm with you on that. Like it's really it really leaves you wanting more, and
I have something here about that. It says the lore from this the planets thing is entirely original to Star Wars canon and is quite unique element established for whenever we do jump back into the era of the Old Republic in a larger way in the canon.
there you go.
Like I said, I'm
That's
excited to see.
interesting.
I'm excited to see how they pull this off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now you're like, okay, well, all the other planets are destroyed. Like when they said destroyed, I was thinking that they were blown up or whatever.
Blown
But I
up.
guess
Yeah.
as we see in the next episode when we talk about it, that's not the case.
Yeah. Could be the
Um,
case for some of them for all we know, but
yeah, it might be. It
yeah.
might be.
But
But
we
like,
yeah.
but they all have the similar like name almost too, right? Which is also interesting. Like
Mhm.
at
Mhm.
something, at something, at something, right? It's like, what's the bigger plan here?
Mhm.
Like, what's the bigger story here? Which is, yeah, like you said, it's gonna be
Yeah.
cool when it plays out. I would imagine. Um, yeah. Other than that, like I said, like I was kind of thrown off for a second. I wasn't expecting the owl, but she was pretty cool too. Like, um,
Yeah, it
obviously
was
not.
funny because earlier that week I was talking to our mutual friend, the Horizon, about Sword in the Stone, and that has the owl character, so it was kind of funny,
Oh yeah.
comparison there.
Okay.
Archimedes.
And so
Um,
long.
so we also we learn he has other names. Crimson Jack was one of them. I think we can't remember if it was one of us that brought it up or whatever. But Crimson Jack is like, obviously another pirate in well, he does have I'm pretty sure he does have a background in like Wikipedia or whatever it is. So he's got a backstory, Crimson Jack, I believe.
There is something I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. Somebody had posted. I can't remember if it was one of us or somebody else I saw. There is a story about that behind that too, I guess. Yeah, overall so far it's been fun. I really enjoy it. I'm having a good time so far. So
anything you want to throw in, Swamp?
Nope, not for this episode.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I've covered everything I want to say about it. Like I said, I thought it was good. Let's get on to episode 4.
episode number 4. Can't say I remember no at Aden. It was so like yeah, broken record, and you're like, oh, we know. It was funny. Anyway, so written by Christopher Ford and John Watts, directed by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, the Daniels as they're called. Runtime 39 minutes. The crew use Kim's coordinates to arrive at what they believe to be at Aden. So yeah, so they stole Kim's coordinates from last episode. The planet turns out to resemble a war-torn version of it, and later they learn that they are actually on at Akron, one of the sister planets. Jod stays on the ship with SM-33 with the kids while the kids venture out. They run into soldiers who identify themselves as Troiks, who have been at war with the Haddons, who have stolen their Eopes. Neil befriends a young girl soldier named Hannah, whose father, General Strix, insists that the children be treated like adults. Neil does not take to the violent lifestyle, preferring a more humane approach. The kids are to aid the Troiks in getting their EOPs back, but Jod and SM-33 buy them back from the Haddons. As a reward, they are directed to the Fallen Sanctum, which resembles the Supervisor's Tower at Aden. The crew find that it contains the coordinates to other similar planets, but at Aden's has been scratched out. SM-33 reveals that he destroyed it, but his memory has been wiped. Fern orders him to remember, and he reveals that at Aden is where the former captain hid his treasure. Suddenly, SM-33 attacks the group as part of an order from the previous captain. Jod turns him off, and Neil faints after helping save his friends. So this episode was a little bit more actiony.
Yeah. The I didn't in the show catch the name of that girl, but what is it? Hannah?
Ana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her parkour was pretty awesome.
Okay, I thought it was a little unnecessary, to be honest, because you're
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
she's like doing it like as they're in
it's like they're
that like
walking
train
off and she's
car,
just like, and you're like, what was the
like
point of that? Like, I
sliding.
don't understand. I said it to my buddy. I'm like, what? Like, okay.
That's why every
Um,
time she was doing it in my head, I was just like parkour, like that video with the.
say parkour, parkour,
uh, yeah. She
parkour,
she was
parkour.
very into the parkour, and also the parkour did look a little bit unrealistic. I don't know if it's like CGI or if I'm just sort of imagining that, but it seemed maybe not real.
Maybe she's really good. Maybe she's got a background, the actress.
Yeah, maybe.
Possibility.
So the one thing, so we looked this up, me and my buddy, while we were watching it, because I thought that Hannah's accent was kind of kind of not French when like some ways, like, because I mean the guy General Strix, he had a French accent, and
Mhm.
we looked him up. He's actually from France, so obviously he's got the accent.
Mhm.
But the girl, the actor that plays her, Hannah, she's actually an American actor. So so it was like, oh, that makes sense. So she's trying to do a French accent, but for the most part, it was fine. But there was sometimes you're like, is she European? Well, French is, I guess, France is in Europe, but is she? I don't know, like some other kind of country, like I don't know, Ukrainian or something. That's what it kind of sounds like sometimes. But it wasn't a big deal. I was just one of those nitpicky things, I guess. Um, but I thought, yeah, this episode, we got to see Neil reveals a little bit more about himself, like about his character or whatever it is, kind of a little bit of a character build for him, um, which was nice. You know, nice connection between him and Hannah. And you thought for a second that she was going to come with them, but yep, couldn't. And yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, there's other stuff. You guys can talk for a second.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool how like they playing him as a pacifist Neil, and then he kind of at some point does involve himself in the action a little bit when it comes down to it to protect his friends, right? So
Right.
that part I
Yep.
thought was kind of cool too.
Yep.
Uh, yeah. Um,
Well, I guess I'm gonna be that guy, huh?
Oh, you didn't like this episode?
um, this is how I think this is the way I'm gonna put it. Yeah, it was my least favorite of the episode, but I think a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that I'm not really, I'm not the biggest Neil fan here.
Yeah. Okay. You're not part of Neil Nation, are you?
No, not at all. Um, um, the one thing that does save it for me is a droid. Um, I thought the droid was awesome in this episode. um,
it's true.
constantly driving everybody nuts with the can't say I remember no that and
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I
Just
thought it
like
was
it was
kind of
funny.
cool
Yeah.
too when Captain Fern, it clicked that he said can't rather than saying he doesn't know about Ad-Adden. It realized, oh, he's saying he can't say anything about Ad-Adden. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
even though we've heard it that many times, it finally realized that, like, oh, he's saying can't. I wonder if his previous master, did the uh, uh, memory block on his programming or whatever.
oh,
So
I mean
yeah,
even
I
at
thought
the
that
end
part was neat.
when he kind of goes into battle mode, so to speak. I mean, I found that to be another interesting side to the droid, which I mean, like I said, this to me is better than Gonki. I gotta go there.
Oh, he went there.
But um, I will say the one thing that I did notice, and it's a little weird, but as time has gone on, obviously, like the last episode, it meant when we read through it, it mentions how Wim and Neil are convinced that Jad is a Jedi, and we see Jad do little things here, force pushes, this, that, whatever, just like these little things, like one time when he's talking, he hits the lights without really doing anything. But if you notice in the episode, when the time comes and it's time to go stop the droid, he doesn't use the force. I mean, he
It's true.
has to basically go over and like run and jump and like hit the switch in order to turn the
Yeah.
droid off. It's like, okay, so why weren't you able to use the force to hit that switch this time? So it kind of almost makes me wonder. I mean, it kind of leads to another build of the character. Even it's like, okay, maybe he is able to use the Force, but how strong is this guy really in Force after all? So it's got me to a point where I'm a little more interested in his character now, because now I want to know more about him. I thought the stuff with the planets, the tablets that were there, where you could see where every planet was, I thought that was interesting. Again, getting into that greater lore, I'm really getting more curious about what Aten's all about.
Right.
And we learned the names of some more of the planets as well there.
Right. But other than those couple of things, wow, this felt like nothing but a bunch of unnecessary filler. That's
and
the
I found
thing.
it was over really quickly too.
I mean, great. It was great to see them make friends, but I never felt like I cared about the story there. I didn't care about, not to sound so rude, but I didn't care about these kids in their war-torn country or a war-torn planet. It just, like you said, the girl, the daughter, it's like,
Hardcore.
yeah. I mean, great. She knows parkour. She can fight. She wants to be a better leader than her father was. I mean, the father came off as just kind of weird.
Yeah, a little creepy.
Yeah, it's like you're treating the kids like adults and preparing them for war against another group of kids. What? It's like, so at the end of the day, all that I could have left. But there were parts of the episode that I'm interested in. There was one other thing I wanted to say, and I'm trying to think of what it was. I went off on the tangent for a second.
Maybe about like Jod showing up with the animals, whatever they were called.
Well, not so much that, but the other thing. That was another thing that kind of threw me off. Like, suddenly they get on this planet, and all of a sudden the kids are going off to go take a look. But no, Jod, you have to stay on the ship. What?
Well, because they don't trust him.
I get the idea that they don't trust him, but I mean, that was one of those ones where it just felt like that's just weird. I mean, but I have to admit, the droid again saved that when he's sitting there and come on, baby,
going into babysitting mode.
Babysitting mode,
or initiating.
Initiating nanny mode or something.
I mean, that part was pretty funny.
Well, again, like the droid is, saving scenes. In that sense, I guess.
But,
I mean,
like I said, to me, this just didn't feel like. It's like they could have landed on an empty planet. It was nice to see that they recognized things. They were able to recognize, okay, wow, this looks like a building that my parents work at. So they knew they were kind of at a right place, but even though it wasn't home. That's what I was gonna say. The one thing I wish that they didn't do in this episode that I really wish they would have. I would like to see at least a point, at least in every episode, where checking back with the parents a little bit. I'm not saying it needs to be a long thing, but it was nice how, like, even at just the third episode, just at the beginning, when they meet with the parents to let them know what's going on, and it's like at the end, right before they cut to the logo for Skeleton Crew, you kind of see Wim's father sitting there with his like head in his hands, like, what am I going to do?
Mm.
And that's when they cut to it, and then they go to the adventure. It's like you almost start getting the impression like, well, what they just don't care anymore on that planet. The parent, I'm sure they do, but you almost get the feeling like, oh well, they're not doing anything important enough that we need to see what they're trying to do to get the kids back.
Yeah, I honestly thought it has been weird all along that they even keep showing that, because nothing's really happening as far as that part of the story, right? It's just kind of filler a little bit, it seems.
Well, that's what it
But
feels like. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
Yeah,
filler
unless
for
it
me.
does incorporate into the story later, where like maybe he, breaks off on his own and
I still
tries
think he's
to
going to
go
sneak
save
off the
them or
planet.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I still think he
yeah,
has something to either that or he works with. We still don't know who he works for. He could be up there with the high command or the high ends, and they grant him because he knows more about the planet obviously than the kids do. So he knows more about what's going on. I feel.
mhm.
Uh, than we're meant to believe. So,
I,
so I
I think my thing is I feel like there's a part of the story missing.
yeah, I think we're still gonna get it
Yeah,
though, but uh, it's not about the parents. So I don't know. Like, yeah, I get that they're lost.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong. Like I
I
said, I'm not trying to say it needs to be about the parents,
yeah yeah.
but even
I see. Yeah,
that other scene, it wasn't even. It was 3 minutes long. It doesn't even just give me something saying that the parents still care.
yeah.
It's like even in the Goonies, they had moments where they cut back to the parents for a second.
that's
It
true.
doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be an hour and a half of, oh God, what are we gonna do?
No, I don't want. We don't want that.
Just
I'm not saying that. Yeah,
yeah, just
I get you.
tell me that they're trying.
Tell me that they care still.
Yeah, and that's all I need. That's all I got.
Well, I mean, I still out of the four, I'm still saying that the first one was still my least favorite, to be honest. I still like this one more than the first one. But I see your point with some of the fill-in stuff. Like I get that point. Like, I mean, ultimately in the show, you still have to have stories going on around the actual story, and whether or not it's means much to the story or not. I think whatever was going on in this, it was just kind of you're kind of finding out a few more things about the characters, right? And then you're just piling on stuff around it and whatever it is. Like, we find out another secret about SM-33. We know that, you know, Jod's not using his powers anymore. So what's going on with that now? Like, you know, so there's things still moving the story obviously ahead, but yeah, there was a fair amount, I guess, of stuff that, you know, you obviously didn't care to see. I mean,
Oh,
I
it's
wasn't sitting there going, well, this is garbage. Like I was still into the story from myself, right? So I really didn't think of it that way, I guess. But
well, like I said. I mean,
I see your point.
I didn't say it was garbage. I
No, no,
didn't,
no, no. Okay,
but
I get it.
I would say if I had to pick my least favorite episode so far, this was the one.
Right. Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, and that being said, there was still a lot of good stuff in it that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm still very positive on this show at the moment. So,
My apologies for using the word garbage. I know that didn't come out of your mouth. I'm interpreting your stuff as garbage, apparently.
I mean, if we were talking about the Acolyte, that's another story right now. But,
Yeah. Well, that's more than that's a dumpster fire. That's
but,
not even.
I'm
but
just glad they didn't show the kids like pretending to be digging
Yeah.
Because that was a disaster.
Swamp is
Like
still
at
out
least
in
when they were
right now.
at least when they were pretending to shoot those gun staff things, it looked like that's what they were doing.
Well, they look like kids trying to use a gun, right? That's
Yeah,
was kind of believable, right? Like when
yeah,
he lifted it up at that giant thing. Hey, look at this
yeah.
thing. You probably should do that. And he cranks it all the way up, and you're just going, "Oh, Wim, what are you doing?" Boom! Like, yeah.
Yeah, launches him
Um,
back.
no, there was when I was talking about the Clone Wars stuff, there was that scene where the hover tank was going across the thing, and it kind of reminded me of the Phantom Menace, where the hover tanks are coming in with the separatist droids and stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like that.
Yeah, I can see it.
That was a nice reference. Going back and seeing the tanks like that, but
Yeah.
And it was cool too. The one scene where they're landing on at Akron, kind of like shows like in pretty good detail the ship landing. And I always like the ships in these shows, so I thought that part was like artistically cool.
okay.
Swamp geeking out about the landing of the ships. Yeah. Who
Yeah.
else out there is geeking out about that? That'd be cool. Who else likes ships? I like ships.
Or anything else for that matter. I mean, what did you guys like about this episode? That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's everything I had to say. I don't know if you guys had anything else you want to throw in about it.
No, I don't think so. Like I'm just scouring up and down the Wikipedia thing, just trying to pick things out. But
Yeah, the part where like Captain Fern started crying and stuff, I could have done without that part for sure. I was like,
Yeah, but that's one of those things that's at least believable. It's like a kid who's
Yeah.
finally scared and breaking down and
Yeah.
crying. It's like
Yeah.
that I almost understood.
yeah,
It's like,
that's true.
so I mean that. Yeah, that wasn't so bad to me.
yeah, we're just showing that she's in over her head. She's not tough
Yeah.
anymore. She's a kid, like.
And yeah, outside of, like I said, outside of that, yeah. I mean, that being said, I am looking forward to the next episode, which, funnily enough, is going to be on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I won't be watching it Christmas Eve. Definitely will be probably on the 26th when I watch the Doctor Who Christmas special.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I did not. I cannot wait. I'm excited.
I will say one thing, because I mean, I know me and you have talked about Doctor Who in the past, because I know we're both fans. Um, I've realized it's on Max. I don't know if you get this HBO Max.
No, I don't. No.
I say, but yeah, they have the whole series,
Like all of it.
all of it right now. Yeah. Well, mine is the season that happened on Disney Plus this year.
Right.
So it's like it kind of got me a little happy because it's like I have it for a little while. It's like, okay, I gotta get together now. I gotta catch up on all this stuff. So that's something I might do over the holidays and start catching up on Doctor Who a little bit.
It's a lot there, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, I've watched a lot of it, so I only got a couple seasons I gotta catch up on. So
Yeah.
won't be so bad. Not that I'm trying to change the subject here on the Star Wars show, I think, but
It's still it's still in space. Yeah.
I mean, and obviously I'm gonna be definitely catching the next episode of Delta Crew. I will be probably watching on Christmas Eve. But
Yeah. I'll be too busy. much going on for Christmas.
No, I understand that. I mean, if I'll watch that and
Yeah,
then
I'll probably be watching it on my phone like after everybody goes to bed because I'm more of a night owl. So I'll be outside smoking, watching stuff on my phone. So yeah,
I can't lie,
it could be.
I'm a bit of a night owl myself, so but it's like I'll be watching that episode and then going into my favorite Christmas movie, which is Die Hard.
That's great. I love it.
Hey,
Bruce Willis says it's not a Christmas movie.
yeah, Bruce Willis doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, if you haven't
He's
noticed,
like, it's a Willis movie.
and he's not all there anymore anyway, so it all makes sense
Yeah,
now.
true. Yeah.
Also, he doesn't get to decide.
Right.
Yeah.
But that being said, anything else you guys want to bring up? Because I mean, I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we just need to say some of our stuff, our media and stuff, and sign off for the Christmas.
Swamp, anything you got to throw in?
No, not really. Just yeah, looking forward to doing the next episode in the new year, switching on to season 3 and all that.
We got some new stuff coming.
Definitely.
Yeah, new ideas coming, guys.
New things we're doing. We're changing up some things and making things fresh.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say, I mean, hey, this is the end of season 2. I do want to, those of you who have been with us through this whole thing, thank you. I mean, when I approached these two guys a couple of years ago, I said, hey, I want to do a Star Wars. I want to just talk about Star Wars. You want to join me? And you both said, yeah, I'm interested. I didn't think we'd still be doing this a couple of years later. But I'm happy that we are. And next couple of weeks we're going to be at season 3. And like you guys said, we got a few surprises coming up for the new season. I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited about some of the stuff that we're working on. But on top of that, I mean, we're on Spotify. We've got a lot. We've done a lot of work with our YouTube channel. We're starting to make little shorts. We're sitting there. Everything's in line on the channel as far as the podcasts themselves. It's all starting to come together, and I'm excited for it. So I know Swamp and Andy are both excited. I hope you guys will be excited with us. But we'll be back in a couple weeks. Probably be doing Urine Review 2024.
I would say that's probably the next one we do. Yeah.
Which
Year review plus the couple episodes of Skeleton Crew, and
yeah, and I'm excited about it. So I'm looking forward to it. And other than that, I want to tell you guys, hey, keep checking out the YouTube channel. Keep checking out us on X, because we're getting to the point now where we're excited about what we're doing, and we're getting more involved in it, and we want you guys to come along for the ride, because we're having fun doing this. And come join us on our Discord channel, and we want to start talking to you guys more, and we want to know what you guys want to see. We want to know what you like, what you don't like. Maybe you guys have some input you want to throw in. So hey, come and join us.
yeah. I would say the one thing that that we really would love is to hear from any one of you guys out there. So any one of our platforms, if there's a place to comment, if there's a place to rate, if there's a place to, put a thumbs up, if there's a place for anything like that, please use it. And we we would love to hear, because we only, when we do this live, we see some of you guys on there, which is great, and we will respond back and forth. But any kind of comments on the YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, anything like that, we'll definitely get back to you. We want to spark a conversation, all that kind of stuff. So it is much appreciated, and it helps out our channels immensely as well. So
And you never know, you might bring up something that, hey, we might want to talk about on our next episode
absolutely
as well.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that it's what keeps us going. We're excited to do it. So, like I said, definitely check us out on Twitter, on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, here on Twitch. We're not going anywhere, guys. We're gonna keep this going, and we're
as long as Star Wars is around, we'll be around.
as long as you guys want us to do it, we're gonna keep doing it. So we're looking forward to it. That being said, Andy Beads, where can we find you, bud?
You can find me on twitch.tv at Andy_Beads, Thursday nights at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And we play Marvel Snap. So come on out if you guys are into card games. Come on out and watch me pull my hair out as I lose. But yeah, it's a great time.
Hey, hey, Swamp. How about you, bud? Where can we find you?
I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/swampgrass420. Usually playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and sometimes Marvel Strike Force. And yeah, pretty much just there, and then my Discord. And yeah, that's where I'm at. Oh yeah, I forgot to say on my year in review Twitch recap, this channel is my most watched channel, guys.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because you probably have it on all the time when we're live, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm Darth Eldor. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Darth_Eldor. I also play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I think I might also start playing Hearthstone again. I've fallen in love with the Battlegrounds on there again, and I mean they've been doing duos, so I've found that that's one of my favorite things lately, and I might start doing some of that online. Maybe, hopefully, you guys might want to jump and watch me do it. But yeah, I'm hoping to have a good time. I feel like 2025 is going to be a big year for all of us, and we're going to get it going. That being said, everybody, this was the end of season 2. Hope you all have a great Christmas and a great New Year. And as always, the Force will be with you.